Are they?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Chatooine Show, the greatest.
Okay,
brightest.
so we started out. Let's chat. Okay, rewind. Boop, welcome to Chatooine. Star Wars Only said, "Let's get right into the trailer." And what you said, Lunga, what are your thoughts? That's where we were at.
That's exactly
All right, and what I said was, for the first time in a long time, or Star Wars anything really, watch a trailer that really got me excited and hyped. And I don't know if it's that they're tricking me or what. Maybe, I'll feel a little bit differently once I start watching the show, after I digest this for a little bit longer. Who knows? But the main thing I guess to say, the question I asked is, when's the last time we've seen that many lightsabers in one scene? And Palpamemes could have reset it again, but he said Attack of the Clones.
22 years ago.
Yeah. So it's been that long, over 20 plus years. You know what I mean? We haven't had any kind of stories. And that was like the kind of, I remember when Mando first came out, even though it was a success and people were loving it, there was still a lot of complaints. There was still the segment of people like they're pissed, no lightsabers, no lightsabers, because like Star Wars and lightsabers, it's like if you don't have lightsabers, is it Star Wars? That's how a lot of people feel. Now, while I get that sentiment, I believe all of us here know you can have good Star Wars stories without having Jedi and Sith and lightsabers. Obviously, you don't need those. But it does say something when you see them. It does give you a little tingle. It makes you excited when you see that many lightsabers on a screen. And it makes you feel that real Star Wars feel without having to think about it. Right? Just the visual is enough to make you feel Star Wars. The trailer itself was very well laid out. I like the tension and drama they built up in the trailer, without giving us a lot of it. They came out right out the bat with that poster, right? Which was for a Disney thing, and Star Wars, like what we known it, that lightsaber with that red blood smear to make it kind of look like a red saber, but it's a blood smear. Mm-hmm. That's kind of edgy for Star Wars, man. That's edgy for Star Wars. It's extremely edgy. And the visuals are beautiful. The visuals in this are beautiful for a TV show. Especially, I thought the visuals were great. And the few lines of dialogue I heard, again, it's a trailer. We know how it is in editing. They can make anything sound good, right? When you get the right bits and bytes and put them together. But I was hyped for it. This was my most anticipated show since it was announced. So I was already kind of hype. And the trailer, I have my concerns about the show, but none of them came from the trailer. Let's just put it that way.
All right, Palpamemes, what'd you think?
Well, I'm with Lunga on this was my most anticipated show, and to a certain degree, besides Andor, it still is. So I was very excited for this trailer. I was underwhelmed. I felt it was very dull, flat. I'm not a fan. Again, this is a trailer, so there's only so much we can theorize on, but I'm not a fan of the way they build their sets. They are very, very small and very close. And if you look at the prequel trilogy, which is basically the era this is in, it's very wide and vast. Some people might call that a nitpick. That's just me as a fan, kind of observing these things. I didn't think the trailer was bad. I expected a little bit more excitement from watching it. Whereas I watched this trailer probably like 30 times, by the way. And it's hard to quantify what my issues, quote unquote, would be. It's just more, it wasn't enough to get me hyped. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think Disney Plus for me has been overall a mistake for Star Wars. It doesn't reach the level that Star Wars should be at when it comes to quality. And I think after you get so many mistakes of Disney Plus shows and the lack of quality with them, that inevitably will make it, from the point of view of a fan, it'll make it more difficult to really, really, truly get excited about the next big thing. And so this trailer, knowing this is in the High Republic, knowing this is, I think, 80 to 100 years before Phantom Menace is what they said.
100 years, yeah.
Knowing from the League Celebration trailer, we're getting, Neimoidians, we're definitely going to get some politics in here. I'm very excited, and I still am excited. I want to make that clear, but I did find this trailer rather dull in a lot of ways and lacking in some vastness that makes Star Wars kind of Star Wars.
I think you're crazy.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think you're crazy.
It just didn't hit me the way I was thinking it would hit me, is kind of my overall sentiment. And I want to add on to like with Lunga's point of like, oh, it's the first time we saw lightsabers. That's all exciting and grand, right? We saw a lot of style with this trailer, but I fear the lack of substance within the show. That's my main concern going forward. Is it almost seems like a reaction to, oh, we don't have enough Jedi stuff, so let's just throw a bunch of Jedi in here, and we'll do our thing. We also now know that the episodes are going to be pretty short. As Leslie Headland said, they are running around 30 to 35
That's not
minutes
trailer
long.
talk. That's for later talk. Okay, Mister, I have my concerns. It's not the trailer, and you gotta start jumping into a different topic. It has nothing to do with the trailer. Talk about the trailer.
Topic. Yeah. When I talk about the trailer, you think I'm crazy. I'm giving all the context, right, with what we have. It is stylistic. It does have.
Just let him go. Just let him go.
Let me go, and it absolutely does. You can't say it doesn't, because when I watch this trailer, then I start reading these things. My worries do accumulate, right? Yeah, the orange lightsaber. Orange is probably my favorite color for a lightsaber. Maybe purple. I don't know. And so orange, yellow. It's great. Depends on if you're watching on a monitor or a phone. Because why are they uploading these trailers in 1080p? I don't know. And I'm sorry. I'm very
I got
happy
a 4K version of it.
Loved it. Well, it's an upscale. I'm very happy you love it and all that. But for me, it's just it was lackluster.
All right, I'll give my take because I'm very I'm like the Bendu. I'm in the middle. I caution on even calling this a trailer. This was like a teaser trailer, and
they did call it a teaser. Matter of fact, it's called a teaser trailer.
It's official. It's official trailer.
Did it say official? I thought I saw the word teasers.
Normally under a minute. This was like almost 2 minutes. One of my problems is that, of course, this is the same thing we saw at Celebration. All right, so basically the same trailer with a couple things cut and a couple things added to it, which isn't a complaint. I think that's more of a complaint for like diehard fans. But getting into that conversation of people like us who have been up to date about this show since the word go, and then people who probably aren't up to date and are just watching this trailer for the first time, there's not really a lot to go on in this trailer. Not much about the plot, the story, the characters. Anything to really hook you to go, ooh, I can't wait to see what happens. Did it look cool? Are there aspects of this trailer that I like? Absolutely, and I will say what I like about it. But I do want to say that as a trailer goes, if I were not someone who knew about the making of this series and up to date about every scoop and leak and any kind of news tidbit that Leslie Headland or Star Wars would give us, I would not really know what to go off this trailer for, because it just seems like, oh, there's the Jedi and then there's some evil Sith people that they got to go defeat. Okay, it's Star Wars. It's basic Star Wars. So that was one of the things where I was like, okay, I can see where this trailer might be a little underwhelming, because I mean, you don't really know what the plot is about. Oh shit, everything just fell on me. I'm sorry.
I don't think you necessarily need
I have
to know,
so
like,
many
this
words.
Is what the plot's going to be. But
I have so many words. No, you need to stop. I've been waiting. I've been holding.
Me a question. I'm gonna ask him a question. Do you think, from a non-biased, casual fan point of view, who doesn't know all these inside things, do you think they would be watching this trailer? Because I've talked to a lot of them. They would watch this trailer and be invested enough to either A, resubscribe to Disney Plus, or B, just watch the show. That's the big question, because that's what a trailer is supposed to get you to do.
I don't know. I mean, it's to each their own. I think this is just
right.
So far, it's a show that looks like, yeah, I'll probably tune into it. I don't know if this got anybody hooked immediately, but there are some things that I do like about it. Of course, I mean, I do like the fact that they're going to the Jedi Temple and that we're exploring different aspects of this Star Wars universe, and that the plot seems to be there's someone killing Jedi. We got to figure out what the hell is going on here, and the Jedi go investigate. Simple enough. I have a feeling that this main character, the girl, I don't even know her name, unfortunately. But
I not following her on Instagram and all that. I mean, come on.
Okay, I might be a simp, but I'm not like a simp. I'm not into I'm not one of these guys who like falls in love with celebrities and just.
Amandla Stenberg. We said her name at the beginning. Amandla Stenberg.
I know it's Amandla Stenberg. I'm talking about like the character's name though.
We don't know. We don't know her character.
Yeah, you do. Okay, there's captions. Not this one in particular.
Not for her.
She doesn't speak.
I said
the other ones.
I don't think
her character.
Yeah.
We don't know her character's name. I didn't say any characters. Jesus Christ. Palpa memes. Don't put words in my mouth.
Let me wrap up my synopsis of this bad boy. Some of the small concerns I have are, how do I put this in the words where they make everything kind of grand. Like we talk about nitpicking, because that's what Palpatine's brought up about certain things like shots or whatever. Where he's like, oh, that might be a nitpick. My little nitpick was a Jedi Master Soul. He did that big mind trick hand waving notion, where I was like, all right, that's a little dramatized for a mind trick. Normally in Star Wars, you see him like a small little. I can't do an example because you can't see my face, but you see Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan or even Luke do it. It's just a small little gesture of the hand. This guy like waves his whole arm in the guy's face.
You are both uncultured swine. You're just both uncultured swine. I gotta start like making a list while you guys are talking, because you guys are saying so much bullshit right now that I can't even like remember all the bullshit.
Though I'm just saying that.
I will comment on that first. This is at the tail end of the High Republic. These motherfuckers were wearing white and fucking gold for the most part. They're even talk about, if you look at the trailer, there's some shots you see there's white and gold. There's some people starting to wear the tans, which is that more kind of subdued, monkish kind of aesthetic that we saw and how the Jedi were in the prequels. Okay, this is a transition from a high period. You motherfucker, especially you only. Couple means I can forgive on this. You have read the goddamn High Republic novels, okay? And you know how different they were. They were people falling in love with each other. There was a lot of different shit happening in the High Republic than there was when we get to the standard Skywalker era, okay? Mm-hmm. And things were more ceremonial. They were more grandiose. So that would be a more... it wouldn't be this little, thing, because they're like monkish in the prequels. And this one they weren't. They were Templar Knights, right? It was very...
That's a high leap to make, though, to be like, oh...
Well, it's the High Republic, motherfucker.
Everybody's high all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, even on their own self-grandeur. Okay, well, and I will concede, yes, it is a very different time period where the Jedi are kind of above everything, and they should be. The white and gold stuff, and they're at the peak of peace and all that. I get that. But this is just a little force move. So I was like, okay, that little big wave thing, I was like, all right, I hadn't seen it done like that in Star Wars before.
Have you seen Star Wars?
Yes, I've seen Star Wars. All right.
Have you read Star Wars? Yes, you have. I don't know why you're saying this bullshit.
I'm just saying that, and like I said, it was a nitpick, but that was one of those little things. I was like, another couple nitpicks is some of the shot selection. It blows my mind with this show, because I feel like I'm already kind of seeing how there are different directors with different episodes, because there's certain shots, like the one that we had up initially of the main character. That shot is very prequel-esque, where it does a digital zoom in on her and like the stuff in the background, and then you have stuff where it looks like Rey and Luke on Ahch-To, and she's looking at what I presume to be the Sith Lord or the Sith Master, maybe even the Sith Apprentice, but one of the dark side people. Stuff like that you can tell is filmed on location, and then it looks great. Then there are some shots where you have all the Jedi's backs facing towards the camera, and it's facing over a cliff, and it looks horrible.
Oh gosh, that shot looked bad. Yeah,
yeah, because it's clearly digital and VFX.
I looked into it. The way the cliff is basically compositive in the shot makes it look, and you will never unsee this once I tell you this. If we're talking about the same shot, it looks like they're just standing in front of some really small trees. If you look at the way the cliff goes down, it just looks like a bunch of trees that are right in front of them and very small. And I saw that, I was like, oh gosh, yeah, the budget's getting limited there. And also, like, a lot of shots are very, very dark, and obviously that saves money on CGI. Specifically with the shot of all the Jedi.
No. But the lighting for most of these scenes were actually really good. I think the lighting
inside in temples and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, listen, I gotta say what I was gonna say earlier. Okay, Palpa memes. Listen, there's a reason why we call you Doom and Gloom Palpa memes. Okay. When I said when we were talking about, and you too, you said it too. Shut up. When you were talking about the trailer and it started veering into the episode lengths, which is a different discussion, which I kind of, I wanted to, we were going to, let's get that. We were talking about do your impressions of the trailer, just watching the trailer, and you veer off your dissatisfaction with what Disney and how and Lucasfilm and how Lucasfilm has handled stuff paints and taints everything for you. That you can't even enjoy the trailer for what it is. You immediately, don't tell me that. Because the fact that you said, knowing they're 30 to 35 minutes makes me worried. The trailer doesn't look and the trailer doesn't look good now to you because of the knowing that the episodes. Those were your words. Those were your words, man.
Okay, you're straw manning right now.
No, I'm not. Those were your words.
Let me explain. That's a straw man.
No.
Straw
man. That's what you said.
Let me respond. I said that after talking about the entire trailer. I said that after talking about my initial reaction to the trailer. I talked about that way after. And then I brought up that, okay,
Yeah.
then I started reading these things about Leslie Headland and seeing that the episodes are shorter. And yes, you can say that was a topic that we need to talk about later. Absolutely. But I never said because
You
of
linked
that,
it to
and
the
it's not
trailer.
true.
Yes, you did. Okay, I'm going to pull it up later.
Lunga. I said
I
that
will.
after I gave my
You
foundational
linked it to the trailer.
reasons on why
You
the
linked it to the trailer.
felt dull.
You
I
linked
never
it
said I
to the
didn't.
trailer.
You said that because of those things, that's why it kept me from enjoying the trailer. That's not what I said at all. That is a straw man. I
didn't
brought
say
that up after the fact, and I
No,
fully admit that. Yes, that
Hold
is
on. Hold on. I said that taints your view of the trailer. I didn't say you said it tainted my view of the trailer. I said it taints it. This is my observation
but that
of you.
can't be true
Because
my
based on your words.
No, okay, so my original reaction to the trailer was before I even read all of that, and my original reaction to the trailer is the same as my reaction to it now. It was lackluster and it was underwhelming, and I expected more. It was
Sure.
dull to
And my
me.
question is for both of you, because you both
Sure.
put up, well, they're not telling us anything. What the fuck are you expecting from a
I never
trailer?
said that.
Trailers.
No, I never said that.
I definitely
You
said
said
it. I
both
do
of
feel like there
both
should.
of that.
I
Star
do
Wars
feel
only
like there
said
should
that.
be
I
more
didn't
to
say
go
that.
on.
And I even asked
He
him if it
said
should
those
be-
exact words, but what you said, you know what? Forget it. What you said hinted at it too. This I can't tell you how we do it. You say something, and then when I bring it back up to you, you say that's not what I said when that's what you said, and that's what you kind of
Because
at least hinted at.
If you misunderstand me, I'm going to bring that up, Lunga. I have to. There wouldn't be a discussion if I wasn't. if I
Sure,
couldn't
there's
do that.
lightsabers. There's all this stuff on the screen. That's cool, but what is this about? That's what you said. God damn it.
No, I said
That's
no.
a
I
fair
didn't.
point,
No,
though.
no,
Just having
no.
lightsabers on the
I
screen
said-
doesn't make it important.
No. Right.
I
We
said,
need
Now at this
support.
my
point,
worry
we're not even arguing
is
that
there's
anymore.
gonna
We're
be-
arguing
yeah, there's
that
all-
apparently I lie. I just make up shit, he says, when he said it.
I didn't say you lie.
That's what he said.
Lighthouse, if
He
you,
said
if
he's
you,
straw man.
well, to lie, yeah, straw man, which it was. To lie would have malicious intent behind it.
No, it wasn't a
which
straw man.
not what I
A straw man
believe.
is a malicious intent.
All right,
You
we're
can
getting
accidentally
completely
straw man
off
someone.
topic.
You can
We're getting completely off topic
com-
with the trailer.
yeah.
Though. Let's
But
get
no,
back
I
to
want
the
to say one
trailer.
more thing. I said style over substance is my worry. Yeah, there is style to this, but my worry is the lack of substance. Anyways,
Right.
Go ahead, Only.
And you don't think there's substance because why? You didn't see it in a trailer, which is the same thing.
No, I said I worry about that based on Disney.
Why?
Based on the run times, right?
Oh, okay. So
Well, and that's where the
you're
runtime
worried
in
the trailer didn't show you enough because of other things that have nothing to do with the trailer.
No, I'm saying the trailer was dull. for
Okay.
those
Well,
own
thank you for
reasons.
proving me right on both points. I appreciate it. Let's
I
go.
didn't prove you right, but
Jesus
I'll let you
Christ.
believe
You did.
that.
You two and your goddamn tangents. God forbid anyone brings up the fucking.
We're
Last
talking about the
Jedi.
trailer. It's not a tangent. It's a trailer. It's about
It
the
is about-
trailer.
it is part of the conversation.
yeah, but it's like a minute detail that Palpameme's brought up. But anywho, I don't think the trailer was bad. I understand the mixed reactions to it online. I do like a lot of what they're going for, like Palpameme was saying, of like the style of the show. Coupled like small things, like I said, was like before we went into a different conversation, was like the way they're shooting it does seem like there's multiple different directors, because even when Jedi Master Soul fights this acolyte person, and Amandala's like punching at him and everything like that, and he does like a force block and everything. That looked like very Kung Fu Marvel-esque, and I know it's what they're trying to go for. Certain shots like that are like, okay, this is not looking or feeling much like Star Wars. But then there's other shots where it is perfect, where she goes into this like kind of cantina-esque thing. You always have to have a cantina in any Star Wars project you've ever do. And the aliens look great. The fact that they are using real sets in this, it means a lot to me at this point. I know people like to crap on the volume. The volume works in certain aspects. You need to use it when it's right. They're apparently not using the volume at all in this show at all. And using real sets and practical effects can help out a lot. There's a lot of choreography that's going to go into the show because it's supposed to be a big action-packed series. But I know Lunga's going to disagree with this, but I like I said earlier, I really don't feel like story-wise there was a lot for me to go, ooh, I can't wait to find out what all this is about. Or just even because here's one thing I kind of want to ask both of you about this series and about the trailer and everything. When this series was announced, weren't we all under the assumption that this was just about like the Sith and everything like that?
They rewrote a lot of it that came out, but yeah, they talked about that. Yeah.
They
You know,
what?
listen, All right. It's an acolyte. We obviously know it's an acolyte of the Sith, okay? But the show is called The Acolyte, okay? Could there be some Sith influence, obviously, that we see by the end? Sure, okay? But you got to remember, Asajj Ventress was basically like what an acolyte would be, right? She's a dark side user. Yes. But she's not. She wasn't a Sith, okay? Maul afterwards, when they brought him back, wasn't a Sith, but he was a dark side user. So when I saw it, I didn't think it was going to be a show about the Sith. From the very beginning, I thought it was going to be something possibly alluding to and involving the Sith, because everyone's thinking this is going to break canon. Oh, it's rule two. We haven't seen a Jedi for 1,000 years. You're not going to see or the Sith.
That conversation too. I do want.
You're not going to see the Sith, or people are like, oh, everybody in this scene is going to have to die. You don't know if that's a Sith. It could be a dark side user. It may not be a Sith. It's people are just jumping off of cliffs, man.
Yeah, and I think some of those complaints are valid, though. Honestly,
complaints are valid. Okay. How? You just saw a lightsaber.
Okay, but the idea, like I saw someone say, like, oh, a red lightsaber doesn't mean that it's a Sith. Dark side user.
I said that.
But
right, that's true.
No, I'm not. I wasn't referring to you though, Lunga. I was referring to someone like Ray Net Holocron or something like that.
You're on Twitter too much, bro. I'm gonna pull a gold and tell you to get off Twitter.
Like Palpatine just said, we can agree.
That's true. I haven't tweeted anything.
Me and Lunga don't have to disagree about everything. We when the facts are
red
there.
lightsaber does not mean Sith.
Hang on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Me being on Twitter is nothing. I'm bringing up as this is someone who has an account.
Kylo Ren
said that this is a thing. Okay, but see, even then, Kylo Ren and Snoke aren't the Sith. Okay, but there's a master and apprentice, and then Snoke is really fucking Palpatine, who is a Sith.
Now you're stretching it. Now you're stretching it.
Okay, no. But my point is, the Sith always use red lightsabers. So when you,
but not all red lightsabers are Sith. It doesn't matter.
Because it does matter in a situation like this. Like if I'm a Jedi and I see a red lightsaber, I'm not going to go, oh, that can't be a Sith because they're eradicated for 1,000 of years now. Like there has to be some. So I understand the complaint of like, okay, if the Jedi see a red lightsaber and clearly they fight this person and they use the Force to knock them all fucking on their asses.
I mean, what?
Not
you don't think they've dealt with dark? You don't think they've dealt with dark side users over the last 1,000 years?
They absolutely have.
You think nobody's ever had a dark side of the Force?
There's not a book or a story.
You don't have to. It's the law of averages, my guy.
Can I respond? Only
two at a time.
I just want to say in the Phantom Menace, we had this exact scenario. Darth Maul fought Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon reported it. They were all in denial. I don't think the Sith could have returned without us believing, right?
A red lightsaber doesn't mean Sith. They don't. That's not what they're going to assume. It's a Sith just because of that.
To go back to like the original point of like, we all thought this was going to be about the Sith. I absolutely did. Because there are Sith during this period. If anyone's read Darth Plagueis, it's fantastic. Darth Tenebrous and Plagueis would be around this exact time frame. And so if you've read the book, you know that they do have a pretty big hand in the galaxy and stuff with,
yeah, of course.
On board. So
is there are we
do something about that is what I'm saying.
Is there going to be a hand? Is there going to be a hand behind this, or maybe not even behind it, but a hand that picks up on her at the end? Probably.
Well, that's why I think these Jedi, these killers are going to be some sort of Sith cult. So it's not a Sith. It's something that worships the Sith, but aren't Sith, right? Because of the rules.
I think in the beginning, you see those Padawans, right? That was a little black girl. I think that was her. It's almost like a Reva situation, but not a Reva situation.
Oh gosh.
I think
God help me.
If they go with the lore, remember when they get to a certain age, when they get about that age, before they go with Padawan, they got to go to Ilum and get their kyber crystals, and that's how they advance and become Padawans, right? And she may not have gotten one, and she may have been tossed from the order. And this could be someone who she feels jaded because she was tossed from the order, and she found power the way she can through the dark side. That's how I feel it. And she's going to be groomed to be an acolyte, or found someone already to groom her to be an acolyte. And there's promise of being an apprentice, which we know how the Sith lie about all this shit. We saw Palpatine do it to Dooku pretty much because he really wasn't. He wasn't planning on keeping him. We saw Dooku do it with Asajj Ventress because he couldn't keep her. So it's a Sith thing, right? But you did the perfect thing at the beginning only because you set yourself up to feel that way. Because you said, didn't we all think this was supposed to be about the Sith? And that right there, that's you created an expectation that was not handed to us, and that's why you feel let down already without even happening yet.
It talks about emerging dark side powers, and it has a red lightsaber. I'm sorry if I
Okay,
believe
that
it's
is not the Sith, though.
Oh, then what is? Okay, well, at this point, what is? What is?
A Sith?
Two
Yeah,
motherfucking people for the last 1,000 years. Two motherfucking people who have not been seen in 1,000 years. How are you going to do any show about the dark side unless it's just like, for example, let's say the Palpatine novel? Okay, unless you do a story like that, which doesn't even really involve the Jedi. Okay, which is just a story like that. Okay, sure. But that's not what this is. This is involving Jedi. Okay? And so you can't have the Sith because until Palpatine, they haven't dealt with the Sith.
Yeah,
They've most likely dealt with dark side
last,
users.
We will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. Last we will
Right.
have revenge.
That's
At
the
last, we
whole.
will
I mean, come on, man.
reveal- Yeah.
What you're asking for is canon breaking. What you're asking for. And unless, again, I know we all would have loved to see a Palpatine novel made into a show or a movie, but that's not what I never thought that's what this was. I thought maybe
No, I
we
figured
might
this
see
was some Sith
Tenebrous.
cultist, and it could,
The
it
name,
could still
the
be some
Acolyte
Sith cult.
itself implies an acolyte of the Sith. Like I don't think anyone looks at the title of
Acolyte.
the acolyte and goes,
Sure.
"Oh, it might be an acolyte of the Night
Sure.
Sisters. It might be."
But they don't have. But they don't have to be. But they don't have to be
working.
working for a Sith Lord.
I mean, you can have them worship
Okay,
the shit
but
Sith,
when,
but that doesn't mean
when
they
it
are
comes
part
to
of the
this,
Sith.
but when it comes to Sith, though, with the rule of two, the whole point of it was one to embody the dark side, another to crave it. Now, if you're saying that there's these two Sith people, and then there's other dark side entities at work, the Sith not only would just ignore it, but not feel it. They wouldn't have felt it as a threat or anything like that.
listen.
Palpatine multiple times has gone after other dark side entities like a Darth Maul, like Mother Talzin, to take them down because he's not going to share the dark side. All right, like that is a ultimate power that the Sith.
George Lucas put us our backs against the wall with the rule of two. Do you understand? That's it. That's it. Except
I
for
do
a couple
understand
side
that.
stories, that's it. So even
understand why it's in the corner,
entertaining
but I
that
don't understand why we
this is
can't
going to be
explore it.
about the Sith is different. It's about an acolyte, which could be an acolyte of the dark side. And yes, most likely this probably the Sith, but it's not going to be the Sith, or it could be the Sith, again, a Sith in the background maneuvering stuff and using their acolytes to do it. Okay, but doesn't mean, but they're going to be that
And if
shady,
that's the case,
dark
that would be
handed you
great.
don't necessarily
I'm not asking
see.
for like the Sith Master to come out and be like, "Here's my plan to take down the Jedi, and then Tenebrous, and then Plagueis, and then Palpatine." I'm not asking for that. But when it comes to a show like this or the premise of this, I'm sorry, we've been dealing with Star Wars under Disney for like over 10 years at this point. It would be nice because honestly, the Jedi, in my opinion, are completely ruined because no matter what story we've ever done about the Jedi, it's a simple story that they suck at what they do and they're actually losers. Well, if that's the case, I can't root for them anymore. But you know what? I do find cool in Star Wars the Sith. I love the Bainite system, the rule of two. I love Tenebrous and Plagueis and how they
Sure.
did things behind the scene. I would like a little bit of Sith exploration in this.
Let's think about this. Other than the story of Bane, and then fast forward to Tenebrous and Plagueis and then Palpatine, the 1,000 years between them, there's some
That's
little
what this
stories
show is
here and
showing,
there.
Right. That's what this show is showing is the height
Right.
of that Jedi. Right. That's
But
what the High Republic, I
right.
should say, is
But what
showing.
I'm saying is that the Sith, remember, Palpatine is the one who made, and to an extent, Plagueis are the ones that really made strides. Right. That
Tenebrous,
1,000 you did-
Plagueis, and then definitely Palpatine. Palpatine,
Right. Well,
closed the deal.
Tenebrous, it was all genetic. It was kind of a cloning thing, right? He was trying to do what they're trying to do in the Bad Batch, or what Palpatine tried to do. And I think that's how they're going to link it. Because Tenebrous was trying to create a force-sensitive body for him to jump into. That's what Tenebrous was trying to do.
But he was also doing politics and everything. He had a lot of influence in the political spectrum.
He was
of the
more
world.
concerned with his labs. That's why Plagueis got to do whatever he wanted to at the end. That's why Plagueis
was a banker, so
Yeah,
he
right.
had a lot of influence too. Yeah.
what I'm saying is he had him handle that. If when you read the novels, that's what he had Plagueis handling.
Right.
And he conducted his experiments while Plagueis dealt with that shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, there could be some stories here and there, but let's be honest. It's not like the Sith got close to what Palpatine did. It took him 1,000 years to get to what Palpatine did. So it's not like it's going to be these small stories, right? So you have to have them acting through agents. You have to, and you know, and stuff like that, or else it's going to just be boring political drama.
No, and you're right,
Again.
and that's fine. I want to see them acting through agents, but that's what I'm saying is like, if we have this 1,000 years of the Sith and everything hiding underneath the rule of two, in the Star Wars canon, we don't really know a lot about the Sith at all, and they haven't done a live action Sith because we're not including the sequels, Dark Side people, I guess, as well, and let's exclude Palpatine for the sake of it because he's a returning Sith. I want something new. Yeah, I want a new Sith. All right, I want a new dark side person. Okay, if this show is going to explore that, great. And maybe the person at the end, like I said, is just the Sith apprentice, and they're telling this Amandala character, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to be the next apprentice."
Yeah, he's going to do Dooku with Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, fine. I'm into it, and I'm interested in everything. But going back to the whole aspect of this show and this trailer. When it was first announced, yes, I feel like most people, I guess I'm misremembering history. Most people feel like this is going to be a show about the dark side, and these villains are going to be like the main characters. This trailer didn't show that. This trailer is really about the Jedi and these dark side characters. And now, hang on.
I mean, the middle of the trailer literally says that darkness is rising. I mean, that's literally what the center of the middle of the trailer says.
Yeah, they got like a line. That doesn't. I mean, that doesn't.
Yeah, but you're looking from the point of view of the Jedi. I think what Only's trying to say is we wanted the point of view of the Sith, and it seems like they're doing the opposite of that.
But no, I understand what they're doing now because we've Leslie Headland did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter and Collider, and she said that it's very intentional, that the story is going to be told through multiple different perspectives. So now, with a little bit more context, which is unfortunate, I have to go to interviews for this, is that the story is going to be told through the eyes of this Acolyte character and through the eyes of the Jedi. And the way I think they're going to do it is Master Soul is going to be her former master, and she left the Jedi Order or whatever because she has too much darkness in her. And those two are going to be the main characters.
If IMDb is right, now it could be wrong because a lot of times they put up stuff early and it's not right, but there's only 3 characters so far in the top cast who are in all 8 or 7 of the 8. Only 3. It's Amanda Stenberg, obviously. Daphne Keane, who is Jackie right here on this who we're sharing right now. And Jodie Turner-Smith, who's the witch clan leader, the one who said the power line that she said whatever about the one with the tattoos and stuff.
Who can share it and all that.
Those are the only 3. Okay. The character of Soul, who's played by Lee Wang Jie, is only in 1 episode. Well, no, I take it back. I take it back. He's actually doesn't have any episode listening, so he might be in more. He's on a few days. He doesn't have any. It doesn't say how many episodes he's in. But like a lot of the other characters we saw, like Carrie-Anne Moss, which the moves made sense, right? She's fucking Trinity, the Matrix era, what she was doing. You know, she's only in 1 episode.
Well, and that stuff was cool in the trailer. The little kung fu action sequence where she's not pulling out her lightsaber and it's force based.
And I think a lot of that was. I think a lot of that trailer we saw is all from the first, if not 1 and 2.
No, Leslie Headland said it's from 4 to 5 episodes of the series. The first 4 to 5, I believe.
I think she's full of shit.
Hey, what the fuck does she know? Well,
they lie. Directors lie. Showrunners lie purposely. They did that. I mean, Feige told us how long how long were we told that Spider-Man that Tobey Maguire wasn't coming back and Andrew Garfield? How long did they tell us that shit?
Okay, but everybody was in that movie. We were in that movie. Don't you remember? We had our own little cameos.
I remember the old Spider-Man movies. I cheered because I remember those characters.
Yeah, I remember Tobey.
But no, I get what you're saying though. Okay, when you rephrase it, you said we thought it was going to be from the point of view of the Sith. Yeah. But again, even what you're saying, it's like, you know, you said it's sad I had to go to an interview to find this out. I mean, how much are you expecting to get out of a 2-minute trailer? I mean, were you expecting to get all that out of this?
Character, I guess, would be nice. What
you saw her?
Old people.
She's supposed to be mysterious.
She's mysteriously the main character.
No, I knew she was the main character, and because they told us she's the main character.
This is a trailer.
We've known for 2 years that she's the lead character. She's the Acolyte. What?
Why do we know that though, Lunga? Because we are heavily invested in this. I'm saying people who do not research this crap like we do or watch the celebrations and all the interviews.
No,
I'm more than confident when they watch this, they're going,
"No,
what the fuck is this show about?"
Wrong. No. Because you know why? People look and don't use their fucking ears. All the dialogue was talking about the darkness rising, was talking about a Jedi being killed, about how there's something out there. And you see this bitch running around trying to kill people. It's fucking obvious. And then when they do the shot, and then when you see her standing like this, you know it's her. It's spotlighting her. That's thematically telling you. In a short 2-minute trailer, it's telling you she is the main antagonist.
And
well,
who is she?
Which I know is she's the main antagonist, but she's not going to be the antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a puppet.
Obviously, there's going to be someone behind her. Right.
Yeah.
She will not be the next Walter White. I can guarantee you that. But she's Mark here.
Thematically, it was there. I mean, we get so wrapped up as fans and want to say like, oh, well, we know this stuff because we're fans, and the normies aren't going to get it. We don't know what the normies necessarily think because we're not the normies. You got to go with Occam's razor and just try to look at it thematically. I saw all that shit.
55% dislike, thing, and that's all.
It has a 55% dislike thing because people have been waiting to hate on this show, and the fact that the beginning of it was, let's be fair, and I'm not complaining about this. I don't care, and I know you guys didn't really care. No white people, pretty much, except for Carrie Ann Moss, right? And she was a woman. It was pretty much all women.
The white males?
Okay.
There was one white male in the background of one shot. I did see.
Okay. Yeah. He's gonna be the one that dies because they're fighting the Sith. You think the red saber guy? And he's obviously gonna die. All 8 of those that are running at him are all gonna die. But at any rate. I mean, let's think about it in the trailer. He literally, with one wave of his hand, knocked all like 8 or 10 of them down.
Which it's
something I want to bring up
because that bro, if you don't, this is the thing where when it comes to Star Wars, you can call it nitpicking. We're nerds. We're very detail oriented. All right, I spent a lot of time in my life when it came to Star Wars watching versus battles and seeing which character is stronger than this one because of this, that, and the other, and what lightsaber form did they use and all that crap. This guy being able to knock down all these Jedi back. First of all, you better kill most, if not all of them. Second of all, what that does in power scaling for this person is a shit ton. I mean, that means this person is a very powerful force shooter.
If this person is not someone very
caught him off guard,
they can create.
If they haven't fought anyone with a lot of power in the Force, they're caught off guard. They may not have expected it.
Yeah, but it still takes a lot to do that amount of damage, right? It takes a lot.
I don't know.
And my point is,
Star Killer.
Guess what? I'm consistent. I fucking hate Star Killer Lunga.
I know. I said that on purpose because he's OP.
If we're looking at this picture, we can assume that there's at least 1 to 2 Jedi Masters, a couple Jedi Knights, and maybe a Padawan or 2. If you have one single person that's a Sith Master. Like someone of like a Sidious level could definitely take all of them out. A Sith apprentice, though, that's a harder thing to do. So that's where it gets into the nuance of like, okay, is this the apprentice?
Have you seen Vader?
Either or. Yeah.
Have you seen Star Wars
like that?
I remember Vader. Yeah. Okay, he doesn't.
Vader
especially the canon stuff.
Get out of here! I've never seen.
He doesn't do that every other episode. He doesn't do that every other episode or anything like that. Like so sometimes this stuff is very meaningful. To the power scaling and
you do need a consistency there, right? And they can try and explain it of like the power balance, where it's like because there's so many Jedi, the balance of the dark side was just so great, and the few dark side users that were there.
Okay,
but then I'm gonna look at like the Phantom Menace with Darth Maul, and I'm like, okay, but he didn't really have that much power.
Okay.
He was fucking trained by Darth Sidious. But,
and we joked around, and a lot of people were saying they're all going to die, but they're not, because if you look right there in the middle, there's Jackie, and she's in most of the episodes. She's one of the main characters.
This is in the last episode, then the very last episode, they find the Acolyte.
You never know.
No, that wasn't the Acolyte, because that definitely was not was not her hand.
Yeah,
no, it's not Tenebris's hand either, so I'm pissed.
Well, duh, it's not.
No, I know. I'm not actually.
I don't even know if they'll make him canon at this point. I don't know if I care.
Which would be a disappointment because I like his stuff. He's cool. I like his story.
Yeah, he was supposed to release like a virus that would kill all the Jedi, but not the Sith, which is extremely impressive to think of and try to do.
Yeah.
But like even looking at this, all right. First of all, I can't really tell whose hand that is. I can't tell if that's a.
It's a male hand.
A wider hand.
It's a male hand, and it's definitely a lighter complexion. And it's human.
I told you the white male in the show's going to be the villain.
To be fair, I said lighter complexion. That hand could be a Latino for all we know.
I'm going to take that to the extreme. It's a white male. His Caucasian
evil,
hand.
evil white male needs to be killed.
Put some exposure on that hand. Let's see.
But honestly, though, even with this, like seeing a red lightsaber like that, okay, clearly I'm thinking this is a Sith person, but the question, of course, is who is this person? Is it a Sith? And why did they throw the lightsaber and cut all the trees?
That did make me laugh. That was a little goofy. It made me laugh.
When the lightsaber's flying, a couple
maybe it's a
when that
warning
was
shot.
happening, that wasn't the best shot in the world. But you're right, it might be a warning
but
shot.
also it's like
The
this is a
nitpicking
part
with
where
you
it's like,
guys.
I'm agreeing. I'm
nitpicking.
agreeing that this is a nitpick because I was just about to say, Lunga, is we have none of the
Only
context for
disagrees
that,
with you. It's not nitpicking, according to him.
Okay, because we're nerds, so
are
yes,
always
we do
only-
nitpick, but Quinlan Voss literally became an entire character off of one guy in the background of the Phantom Menace. Okay, the amount of nitpicking nerds do is insane, and it's what makes.
Just be honest.
Okay,
No,
Star
just be
Wars so
honest.
good.
Just be fucking honest. You love Palpatine, not sequel Palpatine. You love Palpatine so much, and we've gotten in these discussions. Anytime you see any Sith that shows any power close to him, you get pissed. No, Palpatine
No,
is
that's not
the
true at all.
Sith. He is the
not
Sith.
true at all.
No one can be
That
as
is not
powerful as
true at
that.
all.
Except maybe Bane. That's
I
like the
love the
only
Sith
one.
in general. I love. Oh my god, do I love Darth Bane? I love that fucking story.
I
love
hate
the
Bane.
and
I can't stand it because he gave us the
I love
fucking
Bane.
rule of two, and I hate that shit.
No, and I agree. The rule 2 is annoying, and especially with Lucas and him being like, "Oh, it went on forever." No, I think the rule 2 was a good idea, and the way it worked was great and everything. But I do want more Sith stuff. But I love Darth Sidious. I love Darth Tenebrous. I love Darth Bane. Exar Kun is really amazing too. Vitiate is a little bit of an annoying kind of arc and character, in my opinion. And so is Darth Scion and Darth Nihilus.
Yeah,
So
and the best of them all, you hate because like he's fucking Star Wars Jesus. Fuck him.
Yeah, Revan is just. He's a video game character. That's all I've ever considered him as. I don't understand
now he's just a video game character. When I shit on video games, it's like, oh, Lunga do it. But then when there's a character I actually like, oh, he's just a video game character.
It's the difference between the character and the video game. God damn it! I understand your hate for video.
They made books about him, so he's not just a video game character.
Yeah, well, in the book,
in
the
books are not that great.
And for Vitiate with like 5 people and still got his ass murked. All right, so he wasn't all that. But then in the War game, he became like Jesus Christ.
Call me a little kid. Call me a little kid with this shit. But listen, I don't care. I like seeing powerful fucking dark side users. Okay, and these could just be all young. They could be mostly young Jedi Knights just became Knights and Padawans. Okay. And yes, they could a powerful dark side user. Were we all complaining that fucking Shin just couldn't do shit right? She just kept losing, and it's like, why can't she do better? And now it's like, oh, that's a little too powerful. Well, make up your fucking mind.
Well, hang on. No one. I'm not remotely complaining that this person is too powerful. That has never once been something I have said. I'm saying this.
Star Wars only is doing what I do.
No, but I'm saying if they are this powerful, first of all, good.
It should be very important and
and
integral.
Yeah, I want to see it fleshed out. You know, I really.
I'm not
that is
saying
what makes
make
me
it
excited about
Tenebrous,
the show.
You know, but it.
No, I don't know. Again, I don't know who it is.
Some concrete reason. Yeah.
But I will say this. For all the talk I said, red lightsaber doesn't mean Sith, which I still stand by. Just because you see a red lightsaber does not mean Sith.
You're right. It's not something you stand by. You're correct, right?
But with the show of power we saw here, and what's going on here, I am assuming that this is the hand, and this could be like Palpatine said, like the end, episode 7 or 8, when this person reveals themselves and whatever, or they see them and everyone dies or something, and they don't know what to say, or maybe Jackie's the last one left. He's like, it was a Sith, and they're like, you're fucking crazy. There's no Sith. What are you talking
this
about?
dumb
Gaslighter.
doesn't know what she's talking about.
Right.
You know what? Kill her anyways. No, I do want to see the Sith person in action. I am excited to see them kind of explore that. If they do, I really am hoping they explore the Sith, because I think one cool and reasonable explanation for this Sith being able to fuck up so many Jedi and kill them is what they said when we were kind of doing the prequel era and some of what the expanded universe novels expanded on. One of the reasons Count Dooku was such an excellent duelist in that era is because all the Jedi trained to duel against blasters. They focused on the lightsaber forms that were mostly on defense, and a lot of them didn't focus on like Dooku's lightsaber form, Makashi.
Dooku was right. And they considered him antiquated. They're like, "Why are you doing this? We don't get."
Yes, exactly.
Duels.
But it works so well against another lightsaber user, and that's what made Dooku one of the best top 3 lightsaber duelists in his era and everything. So
and Anakin was just so aggressive. He was an offensive style right from the get-go. Anyway,
I don't like the Revenge of the Sith Anakin beating Dooku explanation, but I will take it as is. I'll just say Dooku got old.
I mean,
because canonically,
he did lose his first one. I mean, look, come on, he did lose the first one. I thought
you were talking about Attack of the Clones because he got his ass whooped.
No, he did, but then
lost his hand and shit. Come on,
at least movie wise, it was like, oh wow, that's a big jump. But anywho, that's besides the point. I think one of the reasons the Sith person in this situation would be able to fuck up so many of the Jedi is because the Jedi don't know how to fight other people who are Force users anymore. I think that alone will catch them so off guard because the Sith have been training to fight the Jedi. I don't recall.
So I said when we first started talking about this, I said they were caught off guard. They haven't fought anyone like this.
Because they haven't fought another lightsaber user, basically.
I concur with that assessment, and that's what I'm saying here is that it has been so long that this guy comes in with the Force wave apparently and just knocks them all on their ass. Well, one thing. This is a side note that just came through my mind. I hope we see new powers. One thing I am tired of with the dark side is the constant force lightning, force lightning, force light. Can someone summon fire or something like that? Can someone shoot a beam of light or anything like that? Just something new. The force.
They all look pretty young to me, bro. They all look pretty young to me.
I mean, the guy on the far left does have a bit of facial hair.
So he's I'm sorry, facial hair. You can get puberty. You don't have to be fucking old to have facial hair. Okay,
pretty much gone.
Only had a full beard at 14. So shut up. It was like, okay.
Maybe that is.
Someone called me 34 the other day. This guy from Ireland was like, "Oh, I bet you're 34," and I'm like, "I'm 24. You fucking asshole! Oh my god." I look very old. I mean, Palpatine's are the same age, so I mean, it would blow your mind if you saw me and you were like, "God, this guy does look like."
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, I'm quite old, and shout out to Conor McGregor, that drunken prick. I would not be surprised if all these Jedi die. I'm pretty confident the guy, the light skinned fellow, I think he has a yellow lightsaber. Right in the middle, he was standing next to that one character in the other picture. He was like, "Someone's killing all the Jedi." He's gonna die. I just see that coming a mile away. That poor handsome son of a bitch is going to get murked.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be sad.
But let's, we've been having so much fun talking about this. We kind of I know one thing we all want to talk about before we could talk about the article with her, but the big thing is the episode lengths, right? And this is my concern is the episode lengths. And this isn't even a Star Wars. This is a fucking Disney thing, man. Every show they put out are these little fucking, but it gets again to the point that it's like Obi-Wan and other stuff. And I liked Obi-Wan generally. I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever, but I liked it. But you could just make fucking movies. I am in favor. I know people will say no, but I'm in favor of them just saying fuck some of these series if that's how they're going to make how short these episodes are. Just make it a fucking 2-hour movie and make that a Star Wars stories on Disney Plus, and then save your theatrical stuff for your main movies. You know what I mean?
You know why they'll never do that, right?
Because they got to keep the subscription going. They want to keep people coming back for it. I know it's a money thing. Yeah. It's a money thing. I know that. I get it. Okay, but if you make these right, you make them good, and you come out with one of these every 3 months, you could still get people going. You could still get people coming, and then your other series when you have like the Mandalorian or something like that, But you gotta make these longer, man. It's just not enough.
Presentations is what they did with that Marvel movie. I totally.
That too.
I understand. I don't fully agree, but I understand completely.
It almost feels like to me, it's like they have a story, but they don't feel confident enough that they have enough of a story. And if you don't have enough of a story to do 8 episodes, then either make it 6 episodes and make them out and make them 45 minutes, an hour long, or do 8 or just make them longer, man. Make them 45 minutes. 8 episodes of 45 minutes.
Fair to say that the runtime is an issue until we've actually seen the show, because we look at something like God.
Just when I gotta sound like Palpa memes. There's very few.
But no, I mean, all right. So the way they're doing the series is we're getting a 2-episode premiere on June 4th. So that's episodes 1 and 2. Then we have another 6 weeks of the show because there's 6 more episodes. She did say, Leslie Headland, in her interview with the Hollywood Reporter, she said that like the finale is like 40 minutes or something like that. So yeah, this is a shorter series, but
with 5 minutes of credits.
Yeah, you got to keep that in mind too. But if it's an all filler, no, what do they call it? No, all killer, no filler. Is that what Brendan Wayne said? That's
Robert
that's a good one.
Rodriguez. No, it was Brendan Wade.
Yeah, well, he said on the show. That's the only reason I heard of it. But he was talking about Robert Rodriguez and the Book of Boba Fett. But still, I think if they're doing this show that way, where it actually doesn't feel like it's 30 minutes, it feels like it's a little longer. Maybe it's just perfect on the amount of runtime. That's not a big deal. But if we do watch the show and we go, damn, this is really short and kind of too fast paced, then yeah, that's going to be an issue. But I can't judge that until the show actually does come out. I understand the concern because as a fan, I do go, man, this is a brand new era. This is a new story. You need to give me more. I want to see more content. I want to see an hour episode apiece. But this is such a risky gamble of a show. And there's not a lot before it, that they kind of have to.
Do you know how much HBO risked on House of the Dragon after how disappointed people were at the end of Game of Thrones?
Yes, I know. I mean,
it was a gamble, dude. With that last season of Game of Thrones, how pissed people were. It was a huge gamble, man. And people,
I remember. I was there.
Talking shit. People were talking about shit. Doctor Who is going to be in this. Fuck that. And it's like, and the show's fucking awesome. Okay, but you follow HBO does a lot of dumb shit too. Okay, I know Warner Brothers how they are, but you know what? Their shows, they're always an hour long, man. They're always hour long episodes. Okay, the Hulu, and that's killing me too because it's owned by Disney. The Shogun show, Shogun, those are long episodes, and it's telling a good story.
Yeah, I've watched the first two episodes of that.
We don't even, yeah, you're absolutely right, but I just want to bring up one show that I think almost 99% of fans say is pretty much the best thing Disney has done with the brand, and it's this little show called Andor. Y'all remember how long Andor was?
Yeah, those were 40.
Okay,
but hang on.
Long.
But a big.
No, I thought they were about 40 to 45 minute average.
No, they're about. They weren't an hour though, but even so. The complaint about Andor from a lot of people, like our good friend Star Wars Sith, who comes on the show, was that it was boring. And honestly, like the prison arc and the heist arc.
But that has nothing to do with it.
No, you're not going to do this again. No. But the length can be an issue for people when it's a 12-episode show and it's about 50 minutes.
It wasn't because of the length. It was because of the content. They didn't like that kind of Star Wars show.
Okay. Finding something boring is that's a personal problem. But can we agree that Andor didn't have filler in it?
It didn't. Very little
episode. Very minute stuff was.
And let's be honest. Anyone who says they didn't like Andor, I didn't hear them say I didn't like it. They should have made it shorter. They just didn't like it. Shorter or longer, they wouldn't have liked it
because they got TikTok brain.
Right.
Okay, but then having TikTok brain goes into the fact that if it was a shorter series and a shorter runtime, they might have liked it a little bit more.
But in the end,
I don't believe that.
Episode arcs, 3 hours apiece.
And Star Wars only, it was very much a good thing on how long that show was because of how well fleshed out and developed it was. And we have this one show that even people who dislike it still say it's a very good show. They just didn't like it, right? It benefited them. So I think it's more than fair. It's not conclusive. It's not, no matter what, it's going to be this way because the episodes are short. I don't think anyone's saying that. But it is a very, very valid worry. You have this new area. You have all these new characters. One big, huge complaint with Ahsoka that is 100% valid is no one fucking knew the characters of Ahsoka were. Unless you watched all this previous media. No one knew who the villains were. No one knew their motivations or their goals. No one really knew about Sabine, Ezra, Ahsoka, etc. Thrawn, right? If the episodes
to get to know these new characters,
them out.
Brand new characters. Okay, these are all brand new characters. Okay, with the exception of there's that one I forgot her name. It starts with a V. That's actually in the High Republic books, but she's not going to be a major character.
Right?
But again, she's just like an appearance. It's not even like she's not a major character.
Exactly. So my worry is it's more than valid to say, hey, they're clearly building up some story. This is a brand new era, new characters.
You need to flesh it out.
They flesh these people out to where I, on a personal level, care about these characters because these fuckers, well, they're not on the screen, but on my screen, they just get wiped out by this Sith, and I don't even remember their names. That's not good. That's bad.
Well, again, this is going to be near the end.
You're assuming all this off of the. You're assuming all this off of the trailer.
I'm saying it is a valid possibility to be worried about.
I don't know.
I
I don't
I
think
said it wasn't
I think the
conclusive.
odds.
But no,
I
but
think
here's
the
the
odds of fucking it up are
I
higher
will
if you have an hour-long episode each
no,
episode.
no. That's saying you have no
Mm.
faith in the writers. But here's the thing. To counter what Palmy says, I agree with you in principle. But if the story is mostly about an acolyte and what the Sith are doing, these are lambs of the slaughter. I don't need to know about them. If they flesh out the antagonist enough, okay, that is good too. Okay.
I 100% agree.
So that's fine too. So they could just be lambs to slaughter. I don't need to know that much about all of them, except one or two. Like I said, that the Daphne Keene who's playing Jackie, she's going to be in this like for 8 episodes. So she's obviously going to be. There's going to be a lot of point of view through her. Let's be honest.
That's why I say if the point of view is from the Jedi, it would be very important for us to care about these Jedi. If the point of view is from the Acolyte, for the most part, and I know it's not fair to say based on the trailer, but from what we've seen on the trailer,
I think it's going to teeter-totter.
I just told you guys it is. It's going to be both of
Yeah.
them. They're going to play off the point of view from the
Yeah.
Jedi and the Acolyte.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Leslie
like a
Edlund said that in the
30-minute
article.
Yeah, I don't feel like a 30-minute runtime is too short of a time for that. I think they could do
but
one episode from
if
each
they're
perspective, and they'll be fine.
if they're teeter-tottering between the two, that's too short. It's not enough. That's the problem, because you're going to get pointed. If you're doing multiple perspectives, you need more time for that.
Yeah, well, what's the
If
biggest
it's
problem?
linear perspective from like one main character, you can do that. But when it's teeter-tottering from different perspectives, I don't believe a half hour is enough.
I hate to bring this up, but I'm going to make it real quick. And no one responded because we'll get into a whole tangent. But one of the biggest criticisms and issues of The Last Jedi is we did have all these different character point of view, yet none of them were fleshed out whatsoever. So we don't fucking know anything, right? And I do worry about that with this show. I hope we have enough, and there's enough solidifying writing in there that could make us care about. Maybe we care about both sides. Right? Maybe there's empathy on both sides of the things. You're like, oh, this person was taken as a child. You know, I feel for her, whatever it is. They can. And to Only's point, I understand what he's saying. He's saying it's not 100% confirmed that it's going to be bad because of this. But I think it's fair to say that there is a high possibility of it being bad.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I could very well, and this happens to me a lot, I could very well at the end of the show be generally pleased with it, but still say, I needed more. They could
good,
both,
right?
Yeah, I could still be generally pleased with the show, but at the end say it should have been longer. It wasn't enough for me. You know, I needed more. So that's a possibility too. So I'm not saying the show's going to suck because of that, but I definitely feel there's a good 80% chance I'm going to be feeling a little wanting at the end that there could have been more.
Well, let's get into some of the quotes from these articles. Well, there's only a couple I think that we really should go over, and one of them was the interviewer for the Hollywood Reporter said, so Star Wars The Acolyte takes place towards the end of the High Republic in 100 years before Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Now, I'm presuming Amanda Lustenberg is playing the title character, but what can it be said? But can it be said what her character is an acolyte of? The Sith, the Jedi, or is it open to interpretation at this time? And Leslie Headland says, it's open to interpretation at this time, but you will discover it when you're watching the show. It will be revealed. One thing to know about the show is that we've been talking about it as a mystery thriller. It is a serialized story, so each episode gives you more information about the story. We were obviously influenced by samurai films, but also films like Rashomon. I've never heard of that. And I'm
Rashomon.
a film buff. Thank you. Where you see one story and then you see it a different way. So what separates Star Wars The Acolyte from some of the other Star Wars series is that it's told in a particular way. So even the way it's serialized and everything, I don't think was like a big highlight of that specific response. But the fact that she's saying and answering that, yes, you are going to get a reveal that this character is an acolyte of either the Sith or the Jedi, I think that is good. But I feel like it'd be so weird if they were just like, oh yeah, she's an acolyte of the Jedi who was a Sith and then became a Jedi. That would be
I think it's the other way. Like I said, I think she was a youngling. She didn't pass that test or whatever, and she ended up getting booted from the order because she just didn't make the cut or whatever, and didn't become a Padawan. And I think she went off on her way to learn, and she still wanted to be a Jedi. And then along that path, she found a dark side. And I think that's how I think it's going to be. So that's why they could say
his role master. I think he's the one who booted her.
I think there's going to be a setup from this Sith master that sets this very powerful force sensitive user up to hate the Jedi. I think there's going to be a pawn game where this person kind of sees the Jedi as this great thing, and then for whatever reason, maybe she needs help from the Jedi, and they failed at this task again. It was all pawns set up by the Sith Master, only for the Sith Master to come in and say, "Join me," right? So the Sith knows how powerful this person is. The Jedi know how powerful this person is. So you're kind of playing a game of, tug of war. I think that would be very interesting, and that would found the story on a point of view from this Sith acolyte. I think that would be great.
Well, there was some leaks some time ago about the story being about like the main character has like a sister that's either younger or older or something like that.
Yeah,
and their village gets taken out by raiders, and then like the Jedi either come in too late, or didn't come at all, and they like were upset with the Jedi, or maybe like one of the sisters was taken, but the other one wasn't because she was too old, or they had some darkness in her or something. I don't know. But I'm more than confident, like you're saying, we're going to get some reasoning on why she is killing the Jedi, and it's definitely a personal vendetta.
Part of it is, but I mean, if you again listen to what she said in the same article, the question they put out about how it shifts the character, put us in her shoes, it shifts back and forth, perspective of the Jedi and how they're reacting to this mysterious entity killing them off. So she's asking about POV, right? And she says there's a lot of moral ambiguity, which is why Jodie Turner-Smith's line in the trailer is so important. This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who's allowed to use it. And I believe, of course, that the Jedi are benevolent, well-intentioned institution, but they are an institution that have amassed all the power. So the question becomes, when did this happen? And since we know where they're headed in the Phantom Menace, what went wrong? What are the cracks in that? So you definitely get a point of view of the Jedi, especially in terms of Amanda's character and trying to stop her and hunt her down. But you also get enough of Amanda's character's perspective that you can also see how both of them exist simultaneously. So this is literally it's going to come down to power. That I think she was promised power in the Jedi and didn't get it, and is upset that they can arbitrarily decide who has the power and who doesn't. And I think that's what lures her.
And that makes sense. And honestly, it's very appealing too to approach the story that way, of like these Sith or dark side people are like, who the fuck is the Jedi to say that they get to have all the power? All right, like there needs to be balance, and there's no balance. It's all the light right now. The dark side needs to balance it out. You know, like that's not a bad idea.
Is it really balanced? Dark side does believe that the galaxy's better off under their direct control.
Yeah, it's completely balanced. There's all dark and no light. Balance. That's how the Sith view it. But I do hope we get some exploration of the Sith and their lore, and just to see who the Sith are of this time period. Like there does come a point, I feel like, with this galaxy, the bad guys need to have some sunshine, if you will. I
just hope it's not mustache twirling. I just hope they don't turn him into Moff Gideon. What happened to him?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I also hope it's not. I hope they don't have like some stupid plan of like, how are we going to defeat the Jedi Master? We're just going to go in there and we're going to kill them all. Get them one by one, and then I'll fight them all in a forest.
Drop a nuke on the temple.
Yeah. We'll just take a ship, put a droid in it, and just say ram the Jedi temple.
Isn't that what Darth Malgus did? He literally invaded the Jedi temple and like almost slaughtered them all.
Well, and also in the Darth Vader novels, Darth Xana literally goes into the Jedi temple, like. And they don't sense her at all. It's certain things like that in Star Wars where it's like, you really don't sense this only other dark side person in the galaxy like standing right next to you. I mean, it happened in the prequels with the Jedi and Palpatine literally sitting right in front of him. I'm sure they explain that
in the prequels, right? There was a fog, right? There was such delusion with.
They did not explain that in the prequels. They explained that in books and in other shows.
Fuck off! I didn't read the books about
that. Palpa means
it is explained.
Get prepared for only to be screaming, I remember. There's another thing in the article when they were talking about cameos. She says, by taking place a century before the Phantom Menace, does that inherently mean the show won't be loaded with cameos? And she goes, that's right. So it's good. That's right. But for example, you see a little bit of Vernestra Rowe, which we know from the Republic novels. She ends up being live action for the first time. So that's definitely a cameo for that audience. You'll see a lot of cameos of alien species. So she's using stuff like alien species for Easter eggs. Yeah, Zygerian Jedi and half Thelian, half human Jedi. So there's species you'll see that aren't necessarily like, oh, that's the guy from the movie. Oh, it's that character from Return of the Jedi Special Edition. It's more like references. Yeah, it's more like references to Star Wars.
We're going to see, because surely they're going to show the Jedi Council, right? Surely we would see the Jedi Council.
I don't know about Plo Koon, but Yoda, I feel like is a given. I feel like
she says, it'll be a quick. But she says there are certain narrative elements. Basically, there are enough Easter eggs that if you're a fan of the original trilogy, prequels, or the Clone Wars, and then there's the EU sprinkled in, so you could definitely watch the series without knowing anything about Star Wars. But if you're a Star Wars fan, you will notice all of the things that we.
Yeah, and that's a way I appreciate it. So we're probably going to see like Neimoidians, like the rise of the Separatist army and all that. That'd be neat.
No, she's saying if you like to member, you're gonna member, and if you member membering, you're ready to remember what you remembered.
Yeah, remember Alex? Oh, I remember. Remember Chewbacca?
Just want to let y'all know that is an official quote of the Chatooine Show, trademarked and copyrighted. We will be selling merch that says "I member, you member." It's coming, everybody.
But yeah, so we do have some of the names. So we saw them in the captions and stuff. So we know that Ling Young Jae is Soul. We got Manny Jacinto is playing Khmer, a former smuggler. Carrie-Anne Moss is Indara. She's a Jedi Master. And then we got Daphne Keena's Jackie Land, the young Jedi. Joni Turner Smith, her that Coven of Witches, which makes I'm wondering what are they mean like Night Sisters? I mean, they are a Coven of Witches.
Well, Leslie Headland says that they're not the Night Sisters.
Okay, because her name is Mother Anastasia.
Yeah,
and they're a Coven of Witches.
And it's all women. So kind of makes you think, man, this might be the Night. But no, it's not the Night Sisters.
Charlie Barnett is Yord Fandar. He's one of the Jedis. The guy with the dreads that I thought could have been the guy from the High Republic, but it wasn't. Then the Wookiee. Yeah, I thought it was Zell. Right, Zell Bedafor. But because he looks a lot like Zell Bedafor, but he's not. He's Yord. And then we got the Wookiee's name. So the Wookiee we see in there is Kelnaka, who is actually being played by Junis Suotama, who played Chewbacca in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I remember. Well, at least we got some Jedi names. I mean, it would be cool to get some, when the show goes, get some characterization of them, because that is one problem that I've always had with the prequels, is that when Order 66 happens, you're supposed to be like sad, I guess, but you don't know anything about the Jedi, so it's like, oh, I don't.
Okay, hold on. So this Wikipedia article says that her name. They said Amanda Stenberg's name, the Acolyte's name is May, M-A-E, May, a former Padawan who is now a dangerous warrior. So I'm right. that she was a former Padawan.
Where the hell did they get that information from?
I don't know.
Wikipedia.
Again, it is.
I'm sure Leslie Headland
it's not even
there and put it herself.
It's not even Wikipedia. It's Wiki. It's regular Wiki.
Oh, my bad.
So,
my bad.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah. So yeah.
May. That's not a bad name, I guess, for a Star Wars character. Some of those names you listed off were definitely not a good name, but it's what it is.
I like Indara.
Indara's fine.
Sounds like a
Jedi Master Soul sounds. I miss my boy Loden Greatstorm.
Oh God, Loden is so fucking awesome, and they fuck him so much in those books. It's
they do my boy dirty. They do my boy really dirty. Yes. Long as someone who's also read the High Republic books, does this show make you want to read more of that era? Because I'll admit, I do kind of want to go back and explore a little bit more and get a lot of context.
Here's the problem, and this is what's annoying me about it, because like the mainline books I'm enjoying, right? But like this Jackie character, she's in the High Republic books too, supposedly. Or no, not Jackie. Sorry, the Venestra one I was talking about. Sorry, the Venestra Row. Right. But she's not in the, she's like mentioned like once or twice in the main books, but you don't see her. She's in all the young adult shit. Which,
oh God.
Yeah, and I looked at those and I read them, and like the Kathy Ireland shit, and so I'm like, oh, these books look horrible. I'm like, I cannot read these. And when they're written for a younger audience, like some things I got through, like Harry Potter obviously was written for a younger audience. It's a YA book, but I liked Harry Potter. Percy Jackson, I like those. You know, I got through those okay. But in general, as a general rule of thumb, the YA novels are just a little too corny for me, and a little too. I can tell they're geared towards young people.
a lot of Disney Star Wars books, and I
Yeah.
even expanded universe books. There's a lot of Star Wars books, bro, that are just not fucking good.
Like,
Like they do
and- and-
not constantly curate at all with that.
like I'm not saying don't cater to children. I'm not saying don't make young adult novels. Do it. But I think we're at like for this High Republic stuff, I think we're at like 2-1 right now. Young novels
Yeah.
versus it's like
a big
why are you
problem
doing
with
so
the High Republic is it
should be
lost
the
so
other
much
way
interest
around.
after phase one. Well, yeah, they should have more adult because the thing is a lot of adult, but they want to get the young audiences into this stuff to
and make
when
those
they turn to adults,
sure, but don't
and make them fans forever.
yeah, but don't tilt the scale so much on that side. It's like
Yeah.
at least even them. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know the sales for the series were good, at least with phase one. Like Light of the Jedi did very, very well, and then they had like 2 other books that were in the main series that came out after that for phase one. One of them was I think The Rising Storm, which I know both of us
Yeah.
read. I think I know I read it, and the Light of the Jedi and Rising
They
Storm.
had that audio play. They had an
Perfect.
audio play too with the oh my god, her name.
Yeah,
her name
I know
is-
you
she's so
loved
awesome.
her.
She was
Nile,
great.
The Nile girl,
The Twi'lek.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't remember her name. I normally
She's
remember, but I
awesome.
don't remember. Right
And
now.
that audio play was great.
Yeah. No, but they did so much with phase one of the High Republic. My problem is it made no sense because they did phase one. They're like, oh, this is 150 years before the Phantom Menace. And then it ends, and you're like, all right, what happens next? And they go, previously on the High Republic, now we have phase two. This is 50 years before phase one. So it's 200 years before the Phantom Menace and 50 years before phase one. And then phase three is a year after phase one. So it's only 99 years before the Phantom Menace. Like it made no fucking sense to release it in that order. So now, like, and they also don't number these things. They're not like, all right, this is High Republic episode 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like Dark Path, Light Path, the Jedi have risen, the Jedi have fallen. Like it just, can you number these things, Lucasfilm? For the love of God, like some of this content is not digestible, and there's so much to the High Republic now. It's kind of hard to keep up. So I do feel a little concerned for this series when it comes to being in that era, because I'm sure in the first episode they could do this, but I thought before that, you know, Ahsoka was going to explain everything that's going on in the show and what's happened in the galaxy to lead up to this point, and it didn't. It just dropped you in. And it was like, you remember Ezra?
Lorna D. Lorna D.
Yeah, Lorna D. Yes.
And you had it had that kind of like 50s vibe, like Sandra D from fucking Grease. So that's yeah. But she was that's her name, Lorna D.
Sandra D. I fucking love that movie, by the
Yeah.
way. It's the only musical I can tolerate. Well, before we close the show out, we got to give a rating for this trailer because there's. But wait, before we actually give the rating, what did you guys think of all the fucking negative? I guess PR this got almost immediately, because it's one thing that Leslie Headland did say. She said, if the fans hate it, you know, I will listen to them, but I'm not going to let them bully me into not making a second season. But the likes and dislikes are astonishing.
Yeah, it's not. I kind of mentioned it earlier. And again, I'm not going to try to lump people all into one category, but you know what? If you're going to act like a duck, talk like a duck, and walk like a duck, eventually I'm going to say you're a fucking duck. The moment she was announced, was it 2 years ago now? When she at least 2 years?
This is like 4 years ago now. Like this is like 2020.
Yeah. Immediately, people, Orange is the New Black. Oh, this bitch. The shit was about her because she's LGBTQ. It was all that then. People were already hating this show. Okay, before it even got to this. All right. So people have just been seething, waiting. And like we've always talked about, she did the smart thing. She hasn't said a fucking thing. She hasn't fucking said a thing. She hasn't done anything dumb. She hasn't done anything like fucking Chinoy and making dumb comments or fucking Miss Captain Marvel over there, Brie, fucking her last name, Brie. Making Brie Larson making dumb comments, pissing people off, with your personal politics instead of just do your job. Fuck with your personal politics. She hasn't said any of this stuff, right? So they've just been seething, and I think it's annoyed people that she hasn't said anything because they didn't have anything to get pissed off about.
I absolutely love it too. The way that she has approached this, like she's been one of the most
saying all the right things.
People.
When you read this article, she's saying all the right things. You know what I mean? And she sounds like someone who appreciates Star Wars. So I mean, but
her approach
the
to
fact
this
she is
perfect.
Yeah, the fact she is who she is. The fact that you look at her writing staff and they're all people of color. The fact that you look at this trailer and 99% is people of color, and a good, at least I want to say 80% probably is women. It immediately, someone in the chat said something that's exactly what I was saying. It immediately set off all their alarm bells. Even without even knowing anything about it, I don't even think they cared about watching it. I think a lot of them, not all, I think a lot of them just gave it a thumbs down just because of who it is, who's doing it, and what's on the screen.
And the woke culture war and
You're
everything like that.
right.
They did put out an announcement from the StarWars.com website that the Acolyte trailer got 51.3 million views in the first 24 hours, which is the most watched trailer debut for any Star Wars series. So I mean,
I want to bring up. I'm surprised. Well, I want to respond to the initial, prompt. I'm with. There's definitely a lot of them that because of the whole culture war aspect.
Rebellious Rendezvous. Sorry to interrupt you, Palpum. But yeah, he said it's hard to give a care when you've been burnt so many times.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Is I think there's a lot of people that, but I just went and looked at while you guys were talking. I just went and looked at the dislikes on like the Mandalorian trailers and stuff, and even the sequel trilogy trailers, and it's not anywhere near the same amount. But I do want to bring up the trailer views, particularly on YouTube. Is it's actually going to surpass the Mandalorian season 3 trailers views, which we always talk about how popular and great the Mandalorian is and stuff. That surprises me because obviously this is a new established thing, and with the Mandalorian having so much, backing to it, I didn't expect that. It's definitely surprising on how many views this trailer is getting. It'll probably get capped out around 10 million if I were to make an assumption on YouTube. But
I think that's a good sign for the show. I mean,
they
need some attention. Honestly,
is it a good sign for the show, or is it a sign for the Mandalorian? No, I'm kidding. But no, I want to I think there's a lot of layers to it when it comes to the dislike. I think there's a lot of them are simply what that comment said. People are simply burnt out and they're tired. And then of course is the culture war, which obviously adds a factor into it as well.
Hey, but I feel like if you're burnt out and tired, you wouldn't watch this video to give it a dislike. I
Can
feel
we
like
talk about
how tired people
it's a way to vote. It's vote, quote unquote, but it's a way to it's a democracy in that sense. You
and people are going to say I'm just being an asshole. Listen, of those, what is it, like 80-some thousand dislikes, I think we're at, right? Guaranteed at least 50% of them, is a culture war reaction.
I could, with that one, I could concede and believe that it is a 50%. People just upset by the whole premise of everything, where they're like, "Oh, I don't like this lady who was,
it's at 142,000 upvotes, 207.
I mean, we've seen the review bombing of things done by culture warriors, right? We've seen the review bombing of everything that they deem to be woke without even seeing it yet or knowing it. And this is I mean, we've seen shit on Rotten Tomatoes before the movie. Yeah, it's that's why I don't even take likes and dislikes. That's why there've been times, Peltman, you brought up likes and dislikes on trailers. I'm like, I can't even count those because they're so skewed. You never know what's real with those anymore. So I can't even. And I'm talking about both sides, likes or dislikes. It's like I can't even trust it anymore.
Well, let's get into our rating for this and close this show out. Longa, if you had to give it a 1 to 10. 10 being the best trailer you've ever seen, 1 being the worst trailer you've ever seen. What would you give this?
I mean, we're just talking about the trailer here, right? Just a trailer.
Yeah, just a trailer.
Not expectations of the show, how the show good.
No, just trailer.
Right. Just a trailer. Not that the short episodes are gonna affect my enjoyment of the trailer or anything like that, right? None of that stuff. Okay. Just the trailer itself, as far as the feels it gave. Introducing us to the show and some of the characters, I think it did its job. I think it was a good 8.5.
All right, Palpamemes, what would you give it?
I stand by. I find the trailer to be pretty dull and underwhelming, but it's not bad. I want to make that clear. I just expected more, and I'm gonna give it a solid 6. I know to some people that's blasphemy, but I don't rate things based on how the education system rates things, whereas 60% is almost failing. 5 would be
that's not almost failing.
Mediocre.
That is failing.
60%.
Well, we don't do that here. So
Exactly.
we don't think it's failing.
A lot of people take that, and six is it's 5 is right down the middle.
No.
Anything below 5 is not good. 5 is
Anyone
right
who
down the
knows
middle.
anything
The 6
about
is like,
movie and media ratings, they know that it's not failing.
Right. So I give it a 6. You know, not the best trailer I've seen. Not horrible, but I believe it should have been. I believe there should have been more.
I will agree with Palpamemes. I disagree on the education system. When I got a 60 in math class, I failed the test. But when it comes to the movie ratings and all that stuff, it is vastly different. But I give it a 6 as well. It's not that I was disappointed in the trailer. It didn't make me more excited for the series, unfortunately. I'm still very excited for the series because it always has been, since they announced this in 2020, my most anticipated Star Wars project to date. And I'm very much looking forward to this dawn of a new era for Star Wars. But for the trailer itself, my complaints still stand. There's a couple shots and things there. I was like, all right, whatever. And there's a couple shots that I was like, oh my God, that looks great. But for the most part, I feel like there wasn't a lot for me to get hooked on in this trailer. And they could have not shown it, and I would be just as excited as I was a day or two ago.
Have you ever seen Star Wars?
Yeah, I remember Star Wars. I was there.
Finish your film school before you act like an expert on fucking filming.
I think I'm an expert on filming. I'm not bringing up cinematography. Well, I really don't like the gradient layers on this one, and I can tell they used a Sony XML 5000 in this shot. And is this directed by Rick Famuyiwa in this scene? I don't fucking know any of that. All right, I'm not gonna bring up a Kurosawa and all that shit. No, I'm not.
And we know you didn't do too well in math. We know you failed math because the only numbers that matter to you are 4, 5, and 6. So.
That's a good one. I'm surprised 4, 2, and 0 were missing from that as well. Y'all know. But yeah, no, I think a 6 is a fair rating for this. Liked it? Nah. Disliked it? Nah. I watched it and I was like, all right, it's a coming. I'm happy that we're getting
a thing that exists, and we will be watching it.
Is what it is, baby. So yeah, all right. That was a good episode of Chatooine, and it was good to have a trailer to actually react to, because I can't remember what the original topic was going to be for this week. We had nothing going on, and we were like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And this trailer came out. We're like, fuck yeah, we got a trailer to respond to. And it comes out in a couple months, like almost immediately after the Bad Batch ends. So that's going to be really good for us. So thank you to everybody. Yeah, June 4th. And so that means our episode for Chatooine will be June 5th.
And I'm so damn grateful. They're releasing on Tuesday evenings again. Thank you to the Force gods.
Wait, aren't we supposed to be blessed and graced with our 4th co-host supposedly when that show comes out?
Well, he hasn't said it in the chat since the trailer release, so I wouldn't be so surprised.
Is Star Wars Sith going to be here for the Acolyte every goddamn week?
Yeah, he hasn't said anything to us in the chat, so maybe he's like me. Maybe he wasn't so impressed by the trailer, and he's going to give it I'll give it a few months.
Well, go and
I can see Goldman
YouTube channel.
Goldman's going to be chilling. He saw those.
I could see him agreeing with me in this. Yeah. He's gonna be agreeing with us.
Goldman, we love you.
What if Goldman is the one who's like, I thought it was woke bullshit? That would be like that would
subvert my expectations.
That
He's
would
learning
be
from
like
his favorite
the biggest
director.
shock of all time. He's like, what is up with all? He's like, there wasn't a white man in the crowd. This is ridiculous.
It's like they should have got Ryan Johnson to do it. This is obviously a cheap ripoff of what Ryan Johnson tried to do with Last Jedi, which is superior cinema.
And believe it or not, Elizabeth Hedlund and Ryan Johnson did work with each other.
Yeah,
it was her first project he directed. Yeah.
So
God help us all. No,
well, help us all with next week's episode, because we still have no idea what that's going to be. I didn't make a calendar or anything.
We'll
we're winging this.
Bad Batch.
That's the week after next week, because then they're doing the 2-episode drop. We're trying to do as little Bad Batch episodes on Chatooine as possible. But hey, spur of the moment. If you guys have any ideas on what you want us to cover on next week's episode that's like relevant in the Star Wars universe, leave a comment, leave it after the stream, DM us, put it on Twitter, whatever. Also follow us. We got an Instagram, Twitter, we got a Discord, we got a TikTok, clearly got a YouTube channel, we got a Spotify, we got an Apple Pod.
We just have everything,
So thanks for tuning into this week's episode. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to see more content from us, and be sure to tune in for the next episode of Chatooine next Wednesday night. We'll see you all next time, and may the force be with you always.